An Eva Unit is a gigantic biological human-shaped weapon that was built by Nerv to fight the angels. That is the public reason for their existence. However, these Eva units are not able to move by themselves. They are just impossible to control. The only way is finding a human soul pure enough that is able to synchronize with theirs and submit them to their will. They will go to fight and protect humankind as we know it. These are the chosen ones. These are the childs. In 2004, Yuikari was absorbed by Eva Unit 1 while synchronizing at 400%. Her soul got trapped in the unit forever. This was intentional, and not by Gendo, her husband and director of Kerim, but by herself, as a way to counter Seal's hidden intentions on the human instrumentality program, and thus achieve immortality. That was her legacy to mankind. Seal, in order to prevent other attacks on their plans, decided to control who could get into an Eva and prevent any future attempts for disruption. The answer was the Marduk Institute. The Marduk Institute was a secret organization of consultants that serve as a tool to predetermine those that are more suitable to pilot an Evangelion unit. The first time we hear about this organization was in Chapter 4, when Gendo Yuikari and Ritsuko Akagi were discussing the situation regarding the lack of pilots being sent for testing. At this point, the audience hasn't been introduced to Seal or to the hidden purposes of the human instrumentality program, and are led to believe that the childs are carefully selected by a higher entity. However, at this point, they knew about the hidden truth of the Marduk Institute, and the only reason of this enigmatic conversation was the presence of Rei. Or at least, that is what we are led to believe. Marduk is the most important deity on Babylon mythology. He is not the creator though, but one of his first sons, who eventually will turn into the main god. Marduk defeated the Serpent of Chaos, who was causing destruction to the world. All gods turned into Marduk and blessed him with all their powers to achieve this goal. With this victory, Marduk was able to recover the Tablets of Destiny and thus becoming the most powerful god, the Master of Destiny. The Babylonian people, in order to praise him, offer him human sacrifices, the life of childs. In episode 15, Ryoji Kaji meets with his contact in a secret location, and the secret organization is discussed. It is unveiled to the audience that the secret organization is made of 108 companies, which are proven to be ghosts. They do not exist. The Marduk Institute is a fake, just a bureaucratic figure to justify the selection of the pilots that were being handpicked by Nerv by Gendo Yuikari himself. One of the last barriers of Seal to prevent the disruption of their plans was a failure, and Yuikari was behind it all along. The 108 companies mentioned by Kaji are also not coincidental. The number 108 has a mystic meaning in Buddhism, one of the two major religions in Japan. That number is interpreted in many ways. For example, at the end of each year in Japan, bells ring 108 times, representing the 108 temptations that a person must receive to achieve nirvana. One of the greatest questions of the Evangelion series is why Nerv would pick children instead of adults? Other than being kids, all the childs share one common characteristic. All of them by 2015 are 14 years old. They were all born after the second impact. One popular theory, and my personal favorite one, suggests that when Adam awoke, he opened the Gulf Gates, also known as the Chamber of Souls, souls that came from the Tree of Life. Because God punished humanity in year 2000, human souls picked after the second impact are born without the original sin. They are pure to give life to an Evangelion unit. Angels return in 2015, therefore by this time a pure soul will only have a maximum of 14 or 15 years old. Although this theory is incredibly interesting, it is not the most accepted one. The show does not provide solid evidence that this is the case. On the other hand, the most accepted theory is the one that relates the child's soul with their mother's. We know that Yuikari was absorbed by the Evangelion Unit 1, thus we are presented one and again throughout the show the contact that Shinji has with her while parenting the unit. The story takes some liberties, however, to make the same case for Asuka and Eva Unit 2. Asuka's downfall is related to the relationship with her mother and her death. We are revealed deep into the series that Asuka's mother, Kyoko, committed suicide. She did not die within the Eva. How her soul got trapped on Unit 2 remains a mystery. We know Kyoko worked for Goering in Germany and participated in the contact experiment for Unit 2, but different from Yui, she survived the test. Nevertheless, psychological scars were left in the woman that resulted in her demise. Rei did not have a mother, which makes difficult to prove this theory for Eva Unit 00. Also, we know that the link between Rei and her unit was unstable. However, if we accept the theory that Eva units have a soul, in order for this to be true, then whose soul is trapped within Unit 00? We don't know for sure, but the common belief is that it's Naoko, Ritsuko Akagi's mother. In chapter 21, we are revealed that after Yui's disappearance, Naoko had an affair with Gendo Ikari, but she knew that she could never replace Yui in his heart. She became jealous and obsessed. We also know from chapter 21 that she killed Rei in a rage, which led her to commit suicide. She hated Rei. If Naoko's soul somehow got trapped in Unit 00, and Rei is the one piloting it, this could explain the difficult relationship between Rei and her unit. Class 2A was more than a simple school classroom. In reality, it was a pool of potential Eva pilots. It is theorized that all children in that room had lost both of their parents, or at least one. Also, that all of them deceased parents had worked for Nerv. Toji Suzuhara became the fourth child. He fits into every requirement of what a child should be. However, Unit 3 was built in the United States, not in Japan. And the only relative that is mentioned in this show is his sister, who got hurt while the destruction that took place on the fight between Shinji and Sakiel. How a soul of any of his relatives got to Unit 3 remains a mystery. Kaworu Nagisa is the last child. There are very unique things about Kaworu. He is introduced as a mysterious, joyful character in chapter 24 and quickly became a fan favorite. Kaworu is the first child that is not directly picked by Nerv, but by Seal, as a replacement pilot for Unit 2. His synchronization with the unit is immediate, even though we know that it's Asuka's mother's soul who is within. We are later revealed that Kaworu is only human in his form, but not his origin. As I explained in my previous installment, all angels are humans that rejected their human form. Instead, they became alternative versions of what a human could be, for the exception of Tabriz and Lilims. Tabriz decided to adopt the human form as Lilims did. The difference is that Tabriz, Kaworu, came from Adam, and Lilims from Lilith. His relationship with Eva Unit 2 is merely superficial. Guys, thank you all so much for watching this episode of my Eva series. If you haven't subscribed to my channel yet, I hope that today is the day that you consider doing so, and now that you are thinking on doing that, you can also think on smashing that like button. Have a great day all, and I will see you very soon.